All right, how are you doing? In this here lab, we will be installing all of our prerequisites to enable us to build our open source ticketing system or OsTicket. Now, OsTicket, as we know, is open source based ticketing system that we use in our day to day when dealing with lockout issues, when dealing with password resetting passwords, whether having to replace a laptop, fix a laptop, etc., etc., etc. That being said, OsTicket is our open source where us as the administrators on one end and of course the end users on the other end to solve any and all day-to-day networking issues, to put it in a plain sense. So what we'll be doing here and building up our OS ticketing system, we're going to be setting up our virtual network. We're going to be installing all prerequisites. And once those prerequisites are set, we are going to go forth and install our OS ticket. From that point on, we will be we'll be assigning all roles, and then we will be doing some ticketing life cycle, aka the day in the life of help desk support. So you'll see some triaging with tickets in the life cycle, some issues, with our SLAs and how they will be coming about and how they will be labeled and ordered. So, with all that being said, we're going to dive right in and we are going to set up our virtual network. And then from that point on, we will be doing our prerequisites. So, right now, as you can see, we are within our Azure portal. And right here, we're just going to set up our virtual machine. And because that's all we're going to be doing is working off of one virtual machine, but make sure you get two CPUs minimum. That way, everything will, you have the capacity and everything will line itself up. So we're here now within our Azure network. Well, let's go ahead. Let me back it up a little bit. Well, no, we can stay right here. So we got our virtual machines and we're going to create Azure virtual machine. From here, once this loads up, we're going to go ahead and we're going to create our new resource group and we're going to call this OS ticket. I'm sorry. This is, I forgot, create new. So that's what this is going to be. All right, get that out of here. This is going to be our new group. Our new resource is going to be OS ticket. And click OK. And our virtual machine, get that out of here. It's going to be OS ticket VM. And we're going to allow we're going to allow this to create our virtual network. So once we got our name and in our zone, I believe we are going to keep this here in, yes, we're going to keep ourselves in US East. So we're lined up right there. And for our image is just regular Windows 10 image. So you had that clicked right there. And let's go ahead and get our credentials in. So lab user. So we're still going to use lab user on this one. And I believe our password, let me see here. All right. I want to say it's going to be, I need to get to my checklist. Let me see if I can just move him out the way. Yes. Let's go to our checklist here. And yes, our checklist is going to remind us that Yes, OS ticket password one. So let's come back to our Azure portal and we're going to go OsTicket one exclamation point OS ticket and one an exclamation point. And we're going to make sure our licensing is checked. Now that we got that, we got next. Check our networking. And our networking has created our VNet here. So we have that all said and done. So let's go ahead and review and create. Go ahead and get our validation here. It shouldn't take long. All right, our validation is running through. Let's go ahead and create our virtual machine. And once we have this set up, everything is going to be smooth sailing. Well, by next, we were going to set up all our prerequisites, turning our virtual machine into a server whereby OS ticket can be installed and created. So once this is up, this shouldn't take too much longer. We'll be ready to go and ready to roll. And we should have validation and deployment completed. Let's give it a couple of more minutes. Let all our components load. I believe we are right there. It should be. That's the one thing in creating all our virtual machines is the level of patience. So for everything that's great, we got to allow ourselves some good time. All right. Once OS ticket is done, I believe this is almost there, right there. All right. Machine is just about done. And we have success. So we are from here, we are going to go ahead and get ourselves set up to go and sign into our virtual machine. All right, everyone. Now that we're inside of our virtual machine and we have everything up and running, I also have my checklist up as well so we can have our guide so that everything can be everything as we proceed in installing OS Ticket. So where we are right now, we are going to, let me maximize my screen here. There we go. Now that we are here, the next step along this line, is to get our folder, which has all of our files right here for OsTicket, the OsTicket files, plus all the dependencies that will get us along our way. So the first thing we're going to do right now is we're going to go ahead and we're going to download our zip file, and we're going to unzip this and we're going to download it all onto the desktop. So now that we have this downloaded, we're going to go ahead and we're going to open up our vanilla folder down here, and we're going to go to the desktop. Well, excuse me. We're going to go to our downloads rather, and we're going to go ahead and, oops, excuse me. We're going to go ahead and we're going to take this zip file and we're going to drop it onto our desktop, and we can close this for the moment. We're going to bring it a little closer, and we're going to go ahead and we're going to extract them all, and we're going to extract everything onto the desktop. And this shouldn't take very long. And once this is done, all right, we have everything at our disposal. We're going to minimize this. And since we have everything, we're going to take our zip folder. We're going to drop it right now into the recycle bin for the moment speaking. We're going to keep our checklist. And from this point forward now, y'all, we are going to go ahead and we're going to enable IIS, which is our Internet Information System, which is our web server, which is going to identify the website for our OsTicket system. So to get there, we're going to type into our search bar. We're going to go for and type in control panel. We're going to type in our control panel, and we're going to open up our control panel. And from here, we are going to go into programs. Our next step is we're to turn on our Windows features. And as you scroll down, you're going to look and you're going to see Internet Information Services. We're going to check that box. Let me move this up so everyone can see. Scroll down a little bit, and we're going to do to our drop-down menu. You see the FTP server, web management tools, and World Wide Web services. We're going to tap our drop-down menu, and you'll see everything: application development features, common HTTP features, health and diagnostics, performance features, and security. So we're going to do our drop-down menu for our application development, and we're going to check our CGI. And once that is checked, then we can apply. Once you hit OK, it's going to do its search. And then from here, it's going to apply these necessary dependencies, which will get the server up and running for us to be able to install OsTicket and move forward throughout the day. So this shouldn't take too long. This shouldn't take too long. So this is working just fine. And a couple more steps. And I believe we got it. Yes, I believe we got it. All right. Everything is done. All completions are done. And so we can go ahead and close out our control panel. And we now have IIS up and running. And to make sure that we have it, just open up another window, and you're going to type in 127.0.0.1 and hit enter. And voila, our Internet Information Services. Basically, this is the loop back site for IIS. So now that has been identified, we can now proceed on with the rest of this installment. So our first, we are now going to install our PHP manager. So we go back to our desktop and go to PHP manager. We're going to go ahead, right click in, click install. and this shouldn't take very long. So we're going to click next. We're going to say we agree and next. And this is going to go by lightning quick. PHP Manager is now installed. So we're going to close. Our next step, we're going to install our rewrite. So we're going to accept our agreement and install. And that's going to go in, download pretty fast for us. All right, finished. Now, before we unzip our PHP, we're going to go into the C drive. And we're going to go here and we're going to create a new folder for PHP because that's the folder that we want this to unzip to, which is going to be all of our dependencies, all of our everything for our PHP manager. So we're just going to type in PHP, hit enter, and that's done. And from here, we go back into our folder. And now we're going to go to PHP and we're going to right click here and we're going to extract all. But we're not going to extract all into the downloaded folder. We're going to browse to where we just came from and go back to our C drive. And we're going to select our PHP folder. We're going to select that. And now that we have that selected, we can extract our whole PHP right here. And bam, everything that we need, all of our everything for our PHP manager is in this particular folder right here, up and functioning. And this is going to come into play in a short. So we can take this and we can close this out for right now. And our next up on our checklist is our VC distributing, which is our C++. So we're going to right click and we're going to open and install that. We're going to agree to, we're going to go ahead and install that. And that's done, one and done. All right. Our next step now is we're going to install our MySQL. So we come back to our folder and select MySQL. Go ahead, right click and install here. As my printer runs in the background, hit accept, and we're going to hit next. We're going to do a typical installation. And then we're going to hit install. And now we can finish that and could do the rest of our configurations. We're going to be doing a standard configuration. Remember now, y'all, standard configuration when we get to this step here. So we're going to hit next. Then we're going to hit next. And we have the user as root. So we're going to type our password, which is also root. And we're going to type it again. And we're going to next. And from here, this is going to install all of our configurations for MySQL. So you just hit execute. This shouldn't take too long. We'll probably take a bit. So we're going to sit tight while this installs here. And this will take us to the next step. So we're moving. We're moving now. Okay. And lastly is our security settings. All right. We're going to click finish. And now from this point right here, we're going to go ahead and open up our IIS as an administrator. So go to your search bar and type in IIS, Internet Information Services, and we're going to run it as the administrator. All right, here we are. Takes a minute, but we're in here. Now, we're inside our PHP manager. And so you're going to, at this stage, now we go inside the PHP manager, double click here, and we're going to register it because it's a new version. So hit register new PHP version, and we're going into the C drive, and we are going to find this file right here. So from here point, we're going to hit our three dots, And we're back in our C drive, going to our PHP file and our PHP-CGI, and it's an executable. So hit open, and everything lines upon line, precept upon precept. Everything is looking fantastic. So we hit OK, and we're going to go back here, and we're going to restart our server. You can stop and then hit start if you would like. Wait till it go through and then hit start again, or just hit restart and it'll take you back to the beginning. And from this point, we are now ready to install our OS ticket. So let's go back to our folder and go to OS ticket, and we're going to extract all of this, and we're going to extract all of this right here. So extract our OS ticket, and everything is going to extract into this one folder. It's taking a minute. It's taking a little bit of time, but I believe we still got it. Hopefully it doesn't take too long. So, okay, it's moving steady. So it takes its time, but we're right where we need to be. All right, all right, all right. OS ticket is now. OS ticket is about to be installed. I think we're going to be fine. And here we are. And completely free. OS ticket is now installed. I'm going to close some of these folders so we won't have too many on our screen. So from here point, OS ticket is now uploaded, and we're going to now take this upload folder and we're going to install it onto our C drive. So from here, we're going to go back to our C drive. We're going to go to inetpub, and we're going to go to www-root, and we're going to take that upload folder and we're going to drag and drop it right into this www-root folder as such. Now that we have that there, we can go ahead and close this folder and let that be. And we're now going to rename this folder simply OS ticket. And remember, it's lowercase o, lowercase s, and then a capital T for ticket. So OS and ticket. And everything, every function of OS ticket is in this folder. So we can minimize this now. And now we're going to go back to our PHP manager, and we're going to restart our server. We're going to go to sites. We're going to go to default sites, and we're going to have OS ticket. And when you go over here, you're going to click this link right here, which is browse 80. So click this, and now we're at our OS ticket installer. So from this side here, we're going to, let me make this skinny for a little bit for right now. And we're going to move our PHP manager to the side. So now we are now in this stage of installing our OS ticket. So the next stage in this is to now, as I get my words correct, we are now at the stage where we are going to now enable these certain permissions. So the three that we're looking for is our PHP IMAP, our PHP INTL, and our PHP OP cache. So what you want to do from this point forward on this end is now you're going to go back into your PHP manager and you're going to enable these extensions. So we go to our PHP extensions. Our first one is our PHP IMAP, which is right here. And we're going to enable that as such. And you can right click and enable these as well. Our next one will be our PHP INTL, and you can enable this. And our next one, our last one will be our PHP OP cache, which is right here. And we're going to enable those. We're going to enable those, and we're going to go back here, and we're going to restart our server. Now that we've reset that, come back to your OsTicket webpage, and we're going to refresh, and bam, all of our extensions are in place. I don't believe we got to worry about these last two, but all of our extensions that we've enabled are now in place. Next up on the map is to go into our inet pub www root, and we're going to rename this folder OST sample config to simply OST config, and then we're going to assign the necessary permissions for OsTicket. So, and we're going to assign them to everyone. So what we're going to do, we're going to go back into our folder. We're going to go back into our OsTicket folder on the C drive where we are here. And how did we get here? Basically back to inet pub and then to our www root. And we're back here at OsTicket. And from here, you're looking for our OST sample config. You're going to go into the folder that says include. So double click this, and we're going to scroll down until we come to OST sample config, which is right here. So what we're going to do now is just click this and take our cursor, and we're just going to take the sample, erase the sample, and just make it OST config, OST dash config, and make sure that all lines up. So now that we have that squared, now we can go inside of here and set our permissions. So we're going to right click this and come down to properties. From here, we're going to our security. And from here, as you see all of these permissions, we're going to click advanced. And from here, we're going to disable all of these. And we're going to remove all inherited permissions. So remove all of these. And now that we've removed all of these, we're now coming back in, we're going to add. And we're going to select the principal. And our principal in this case is going to be for everyone, because right now nobody knows who exactly is going to be having control over everything. So we're going to just choose everyone just for the sake of. So we have that, and we're going okay. And now that we have these are in place, we'll hit OK. We're going to apply everyone, and then we're going to hit OK. Wait a minute, I did something wrong. Wait a minute, y'all, I did something wrong. I got to go back and give everything. I got to go back and edit these. We're going to give them we got to give them full permissions. There we go. I almost messed this up. So we got to give everyone full permissions. So now we're going to hit OK. Then we're apply, and then OK. And now everything is looking great. So we're going to click OK. And now we can minimize our folder here. And from this point forward, we can now go ahead and start filling in the blanks on our OsTicket for MySQL and Heidi SQL, which is going to be next. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back here. I am going to get my notepad I'm going to take all of my, I'm going to take all of these on my notepad here. We're going to come back to our remote desktop, and I'm going to make so I can have these. So we're going to get us a notepad, clean notepad, and we're just going to paste everything over here. So now that I have everything that I need, we got my SQL server with username, root, and root, and also everything for OsTicket when we get ready to sign in. And this here is just everything that got us onto the remote desktop. So with that being said, we are now moving forward with filling in the blanks with OsTicket. So we're going to hit continue, and that brings us over here. So we're just going to name this simply Tyrone's Help Desk. Our default email, I'll just name it something that I had written down. itpro@mail.com. And of course, the admin user, of course, is me. And email address for me is Mr. TDH74 at gmail.com. Username TYRONEADMIN. Password 1 and password 1. Now that I have those credentials set in place, the next thing for sure to keep us moving is now we are going to install Heidi SQL. So we're going to come back to our desktop. Okay, I guess it still won't let me do it from here. So we're going to come back to our desktop, and we're going to now install Heidi SQL. So we're going to open Heidi SQL. We're going to accept the agreement, next, next, and install. We're going to install Heidi SQL here. And we're going to finish and launch it. And from here, we're going to click a new session, and we already have our username, which is root. So the password is still root as well. And we're going to select open, and we're now going to create a new database. So the dolphin icon up here, we're going to right click, and we're going to scroll down to create new and database. And this is going to be OsTicket. And so we're going to click OK. OsTicket is now created. There's nothing in here at the moment. So what we're going to do now is go ahead and finish the rest of the installation. So we can minimize my Heidi SQL for right now. We can also minimize this folder. So we also have our local host, and MySQL database that we have, of course, is OsTicket. The username is root, and also the password is root. And now that we have all of these credentials in place, we can now install. And this should not, and here we are, ladies and gentlemen. OsTicket is up and running. We are running on a clean system. Everything is configured. And OsTicket, all these things right here, all this information that's in here is what was just downloaded from Heidi SQL. So we have OsTicket now up and running, and we can close this for right now. And everything right here, we have now the local host, and everything at your fingertips for daily use. So what we're going to do is let's just open up a window. What we're going to do is come here. We're just going to go ahead. We're going to copy the link, bring it on over here, and we're going to just drop it in here. And this side is for our end users, for your requests, and check the ticket status as well. And we also have the links here for our staff. So we're going to, let's copy the link for here, and we're going to drop it in. And this here is for our admins. OsTicket is now officially up and running, and we're ready to tackle the day and take care of some ticketing issues. Now, before we finish this, the last thing that needs to be done is our cleanup. So what we will be doing now is we're going to go back. We're going to go back into our folder. We're going to go back to our C drive, and we're going to go back to that iNet pub www root, our OsTicket, and we are going to delete this setup file. First things first, we're going to delete the setup file, and then we're going to come back to our OST config, and we're going to set our permissions to read only. There we go. So we're going to right click. We're going to come back down to properties, back to security. We're going to come back down here to advanced. And for everyone, we're going to edit, and we're going to give everybody read only permissions. We're going to hit OK. We're going to apply that. We're going to hit OK. Everything looks good, and hit OK. And so now we can go ahead and close this folder out, because now we have OsTicket up and running for our work day and our work week. And in the next video, we're going to take care of the post installation and configurations for the agents and users and set the rest of our permissions. So with that being said, we're going to see you on the next video.